Hi everyone, Cheryl here with a video on the Z-fold card that I've made. Oops. You've actually seen I've made quite a few of these. I actually love this fold. These are super fun and they're pretty easy to make. So the first thing you're going to want to do is pick your colors. I'm going with black, lavender, and then my design paper here. And so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you'll want to do is, these are all 12 by 12 pieces. It makes it super easy. Take your 12 by 12 and cut it in half so you have two 6 by 12 pieces. And then what you'll want to do is take one of those 6 by 12s and cut it in half to make two 6 by 6 pieces. So now we have our card base here. And the next thing you'll want to do is take your colored cardstock and cut yourself 3 5.5 by 5.5 pieces. And these are going to be for layering here, here, and behind this piece right here. So there's two 5.5 right there. Here's another 5.5. And now what you're going to want is a 5 by 5. And this little piece, you can do two 5 by 5s if you'd like, but I only do one. And that's going to be for the front of this. Now you can create another one for the back if you'd like. So 5 by 5. So now let's take our cardstock, our design paper, sorry. And we're going to cut 3 5.25 by 5.25. Now you can change these measurements up however you'd like. So I'm going 5.25 by 5.25. I want 3 of those. So there's 2. And here's 3. So my next piece is going to be a 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And so now we have all our pieces cut and ready. So I'm setting that aside. Actually, sorry, I lied. You're going to need 1 5 by 5.25 piece. I better bring this back out. And that's going to be for the slider. So 5 by 5.25. Okay. I'm just going to set that up there. Alrighty. And I might be making this video into 2 parts. It just depends on how long it takes. My last video was over 15 minutes and I couldn't upload it to YouTube or to my blog. So that became an issue. That's why I'm redoing this video. Okay, so the next step is to take some type of scoring tool. And I don't know why I have a glare. I'm thinking it's this light. I can't figure that out. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to make it so you don't have that glare. And I'm seeing it, but I hope you're not. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is score at 1/2 inch and 6.5 inches. Okay, and the 1/2 inch gets folded down or back, and then at the 6.5 you're folding that forward, okay, because it's shorter here and this is going to be your front piece. So go ahead and make your crisp line, your scores, just go over those. Okay, so now of course we're going to need the cutter one more time. And we're going to cut this piece here. Now, I used this 1/2 inch, and there's that glare again. Sorry, you guys. Trying to get rid of it. Okay, I think that might be better. So, I hope you could see this. Here's the 1/2 inch. We're not cutting any of this. I use that score line as a guide where my cutter cuts. And so that's how I do. And so like I take my finger and you could feel that, oh, it's not going to cut that. And then I kind of try to determine, and I usually get them pretty close every single time, but you can take this paper out and bring this as far down as you want. I don't want it down too far, so I usually cut about like that. And so there you have your fold. You get them pretty close every time. So you'll just have to play around with it and see. So now we have that cut. And this is what I use for my guide on cutting these other pieces. So I'm going to set my two 6x6s aside, and I'm going to set one of my 5.5 by 5.5 and one of my 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. These are all going to create this right here. Okay, so I'm setting that aside. We don't need that, and we don't need the slider part, so set that away so you don't cut it by accident. So now what I'm going to do is I'm taking one of my 5.5 by 5.5, and I'm starting with this piece right here. Now I always make sure that the texture is facing me. That way you know this piece belongs where it's going to go. And that's kind of how I guide to where I'm going with this. And so and then what I do is I kind of frame this. So I have the same amount on each side, and then the bottom, I bring it up, usually about double, so I can have that black frame up here. So now what you do is carefully, and I've messed up on one of my videos I was trying to make before this one, I messed up. So I'm going to try to keep this and go slow. I was in such a hurry to try to get under 15 minutes. So you can take an X-Acto knife, or I'm using a box cutter, and you use the black as your guide. So take your time, or what you could do is take a pencil and mark it, and then take a ruler and cut it and use your knife. So this would be the ruler instead. I find it's faster for me to do it this way, so I like the fast and easy, and so this is it. So now what I'm going to do is, so I have this piece, so now I want the piece for the back. And so here's that one. Same thing, I frame it and then carefully flip that over and without moving it, and then take your time and cut. And so now you have that piece. Okay, and then our next piece is going to be the front panel piece, and that piece is here, and it's the same thing. You're just bringing the bottom up about double what it would normally be, flipping it over, and hopefully you can see this, and then just cutting. Okay. If I run out of time, I'll stop this video and do another one, because I'm already at 8 minutes. Okay, so now you have those pieces. Set this piece aside, and now we're going to use these pieces as our guide for our design paper pieces. So just pick your paper and make sure you're using the front. Again, I always make sure to feel that this is the textured side, and that way you don't make any boo-boos. So you just do the same thing. Do your frame, double, bring it up a little more on the bottom. Flip that over. And go ahead and cut. So now you have your frame piece for one of the panels. And you're going to continue to do the same on these. So my textured sides here, I'm going to flip that this way. And I might, and then go ahead, cut that piece. So now you have that one, and that one goes here. And we have one more. I'm not going to glue any of these pieces, only because I'm going to add sewing to mine and I want to do it later. But if you're going to glue, just glue the pieces and then go ahead and add sewing or no sewing, whatever you want to do. And there's that piece. So now we have all the pieces. So how many minutes am I at? 10. I have enough to show you how to just put this card together. So let's go ahead and do that. You can do your layering on your own. I'm going to fold this up, move it out of the way. Okay, so the first thing I do is I take these two pieces, and again, I like to make sure the embossed sides go together and make sure they're all square. So get your embossed fronts here and then the embossed backs on the back. And then go ahead, where did my punch go? Okay, I'm going to use the Stampin' Up punch here. This is 1 3/8, and I'm going to cut the top of this one, and that just gives room for your pull. And then I'm using it as a guide for that one, and there we go. Okay, so next step is to add your Z-fold. Let me lift this up a little. Okay, so the next step is to take this 1/2 inch here and add some score tape to that. I'm running out of my 1/2 inch. I'm using 1/2 inch score tape from Really Reasonable Ribbon. That's on my next order. I have to get more. I use this stuff for everything. Even for putting ribbon down. Okay, so now you have your score tape on there, and I just take the edges if I went over and I roll them up. That's what I was doing, if you were wondering. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take and add this piece, and I try to just match it to the bottom. Okay, so now we have the actual card itself right here. But to give that pocket, we're going to add this again. Here's the textured side, so that's going to face out. And now what I'm going to do is just add my thinnest score tape right here, and I'm going to use that for the sides and the bottom. And I'm at 12. I'm under. Okay. Yeah, I was so upset. I went to upload my video this morning for my Z-fold card today, which is Sunday, and it was too long. It was like 15, a little over 15 minutes, and they can only be 15 minutes, and then I couldn't even upload it to my blog because it just was too big. So you're just running your score tape along the sides and the bottom, and then we're going to add that here. Oops. And there you have a Z-fold card. Now on this piece, this is the slider piece. Your piece that's going to go on this is going to be 4.5 by 4 3/4, and then I also use the Stampin' Up scallop punch, and that's what I use, and the circle punch again, for the piece that's going to be the pull tab. Now, or what you could do, like I did on my card that I showed today, is I used a ribbon rosette flower that I made. And I have a tutorial on this as well. And then I just used this as the backing to put on the back to cover it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video on my Z-fold card with the little hidden message. And thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Have a nice day.